There's traffic on the exit. Keep it tight.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Monday Night Full Throttle Sim Racing NextGen Cup.
And co-host for
And you see it. It's Bristol Dirt. Yay!
Hey,
let the excitement build.
This time
so anyway, we got Nerditudes again with us, doing a broadcast down there. So
I mean, you see these guys are beating and banging, nailing that that corner.
So, yeah, we're running whatever. We're fifth on the board, but that was early on, and
you're going to see side-by-side racing. You're going to see
gonna be a crapshoot.
Slide jobs left and right. I mean, it's going to be a good show, Jeremy. Dirt always brings out the best.
Car outside.
It was a really clean, really fun race to watch this past week.
Man, it's just like it goes wherever it wants to do.
Running 30 extra
but
laps.
It definitely doesn't go straight like it's supposed to.
And the track looks really racy, even on the slick side. A lot of these guys are looking very similar in lap times. They're soul searching right now, trying to find any ounce of grip they can.
I got it.
They're still doing it competitively for the most part. So
I think it's under my car.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, these drivers, they're working on a lot of things, Jeremy. So this track is going to change. It's going to go through a lot of.
Anyway, we got 2.5 minutes until we go qualifying, and let's see, the track sucks again. Okay. The track keeps going through a wide variety of things here.
Transition, it's going to go to a very slick, like what you have right now. These drivers.
But my understanding is this is the track we're going to qualify on.
You see, this track is really getting a slick and a real nice sheen and shine to it. These drivers they could either set up for a track that's got a lot of grip and they could be fast at the start, or you can have some of these drivers set their cars up for that later race, that slick, to where they're going to be fast at the end. So sometimes it's a gamble because, Jeremy, you know as well as I, you just don't know how this track is going to wear.
You want to tell them that the track's not resetting either?
I don't know how much of a setup you can put in this thing to control your car while on ice.
Also, just a note, guys, the track will not be resetting for qualifying. This is the track you're going to be qualifying on right here.
Okay, Richie, there's a car
and right now, you see this track is dark as a Roasted Gems coffee ground.
It will then reset for the race.
We'll go through qualifying that way. It'll stay nice and real slick. You're going to see really slow lap times compared to what you see in practice here. But when the race kicks over, Dustin, it goes back to 0% used up. It'll be fresh dirt, and then it'll take about 50 laps for it to start to slick in toward the bottom, and you'll see a lot of the Cup guys at that point move up to the top. Yeah, and they'll move up to the top. You see the 22 right now of Robert Milikian. We do got the pronunciation right on that one there. That's right. No relation to Kyle Milliken. He's working the top side here like a lot of the drivers are, Jim. It's like you said, as the track gets more wear to it, it's going to build up a cushion up on that top of the track, and you can use that cushion to essentially propel your car off of the corner back down the straightaway again. It's kind of like a little buffer. If you guys kind of remember back in the day,
yeah,
you'd go to the bowling alley and
under a minute, that's
kind of what that cushion does.
This is going to be a crazy race as usual.
You can't push
so
that.
You'll probably get a lot of questions,
up and over it, and you're going to slam that wall. Oh my goodness! You see the 91 adults do that right in front of Robert. But I mean, you're going to see a huge transition here. Drivers are going to be either using the bottom, or they're going to be pushing that cushion up at the top. They're going to be searching anywhere they can to get grip, because this track is going to slicken up.
10 seconds.
Yeah, if you watch this past Wednesday, you'd have like the Alan Duranco's up there early, wall riding that thing as much as he can.
Jeremy and
just
Dustin.
touching the right rear of the car, or the truck rather, for him on Wednesday, just slightly up against the wall. And it keeps your car from getting too sideways. It gives you a little more control as long as you don't go up the cushion too hard and get wall glued there on the top half of the track. If you can hit it lightly, it'll push you back down, and then just a light straight for the right rear will keep your car in control, and it can get really fast. But with that comes precise skill there. Like, you have to be on it. You can't just hope for the best when you go up there. You have to know exactly what you're doing to find that peak speed. If not, you're going to be losing time. That's where the guys that are asphalt usuals and nothing more on the dirt, they're going to be going to the bottom to the middle of the track where it's comfortable, because they don't know.
Fine, here we go. And we do.
You'll see that talent separation here tonight more than likely. But we are going to qualifying here. As always, we go to the fastest practice guy. This time, Tony Solari, that number 11. We're going to see if he takes the track here real shortly. If not, we'll ride along with one of these other guys. But 5 minutes to get this job done on a slick racetrack, Dustin. Who do you think's got it?
I tell you what, I have to go with my man Tony. The guy knows dirt. That's one of his strong suits. We know that. Fury goes to him quite a bit. Tony Solari definitely has a good calling on that. But I can't count out Ryan Chapman either. I mean, he was putting down some good speed as well. I always like rooting for the Chapman. So we'll see what goes on. But I mean, as long as Tony can keep hitting the lines and keep hitting the marks that he was hitting before, I think you're going to see that number 11 possibly up at the top there, and I know that he's going to have some folks in Vegas.
Tony!
I do want to give a shout out to Tony watching at home, healing up right now. He's sick with a kidney stone and an infection. Says go Blackwater, rooting them on. So we wish you a speedy recovery, Josh, and we'll look forward to your return once you are good and healthy, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to see you back on the track here. And jumping over to the YouTube chats, Diane Chapman saying good luck, Ryan. And then Doyle Lawrence, good luck, Torgerson. So we got our cheerleaders out there and bright and early before the drop of the green flag. And right now, Tony Solari hitting a 19.042, top of the charts by 0.2 over his teammate Richie Coy, which those two guys finished second and third, none other to Stephen Lou Allen, who did win here last year on the dirt surface. So not too surprising to see that. And then Lane Allen currently sitting in third at the moment, the 19.301. He did pretty good last year, and I talked to him a little bit before the race. He seems like he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders coming in tonight. Really calm, really relaxed. That's usually his style. Didn't give me too much information, but what he gave me, I think he's got a decent shot to contend for at least the top 5 tonight.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I mean, you're seeing a lot of good names up there. So like I said, we know that Lane Allen finished very well at this track last season. You said that Torgerson's, fan base was out there already. He's sitting P4 right now. So, he's showing some good speed. Brody Hanna showing excellent speed. How about that 98 of Chris Curtis, though? I mean, this is a guy that we haven't had a chance really to see how he performs on dirt all too much. And you see that 98 up there. Milliken right now, and that 42 is sitting P7. Lang in 8, Lou Allen 9th, and Beck. So you got Lang and Beck right now, both of the teammates on that team.
The beginning of the
solidly in the top 10. You got some good names up there, Jeremy.
You really do, and I see Stephen Lou Allen. You said he's a 9th. He was last year's winner. So he's got some work to do. I noticed his practice times were almost a second off from the top time there. He might have joined the server late, though. As you know, when you race on dirt, it gets slicker and slicker, and the speeds go away. So he would have jumped on the track a little bit later than the guy who jumped on the track first. He had a disadvantage right from the get-go. So only time will tell during the race to see how that 24 machine is going to go. Doyle Lawrence in the chat saying, "Did Jeff Chandler make it tonight?" Do not believe Jeff Chandler will be here tonight.
Honestly, I'd rather have it here than anywhere else.
26 entries, and we're used to seeing 30 plus.
Literally anything can happen.
It's just a factor of the dirt tracks or whatnot, but 25 here on the dirt
and in
an oval asphalt car.
Chandler is not in the roster right now.
Yeah, not on the roster, and we got a minute left in qualifying, so it's gonna be very late entry.
Yeah, by 8 or 13, and then Troy's behind me by over 30.
Great time for Troy Torgerson, 19.373 on a slick surface. That's good. That's a competitive lap time.
You ain't letting me do shit. You win, you win.
At a dirt track where there's so many different variables, you can hit a blistering lap one lap and then completely mess it up the next because there's just it's just not a
I said, there is no if. You're going to win, you win.
That's the one. You got my back. Thank you, Larry McReynolds.
But yeah, it is hard. I mean, and that's one thing these drivers, as we're winding down, we got about 20 seconds left in qualifying. I mean, these drivers, they're going to have to try to stay consistent, and it's so hard to stay consistent on dirt because the track changes so much. And then it's you're not racing the track, just the track. I mean, these drivers are also trying to fight for grip. So I mean, this stuff can turn on a dime, and it can go from good to bad, all over the place. So it's going to be a show. These guys always put on a good show. Dirt is always one of my favorite things to call, so should be a good one, Jeremy.
And that being said, race
pretty much what he's
time
doing.
is here. These guys are going to be gritting up on the track to take their 2 pace laps and then to settle it out for 150 laps Here tonight, we're going to go down the starting order for tonight's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Tony Solari is going to start P1, teammate to his outside, 19 of Richie Coy. Third place, Lane Allen. Fourth place, Troy Torgerson. Fifth place, Brody Hanna. Starting in sixth, you're going to find the 98 of Chris Curtis. Seventh place, Kyle Milliken. Eighth, Chad Lang. Ninth place, Stephen Lou Allen. 10th place, Chris Beck. 11th place, Ryan Hendrick. 12th, Ryan Chapman. Brian Dublé will start in 13th. Robert Malikian, I got it correct too, going to start in 14th. Steve Loomis, 15th. Justin Diltz, still going to start in 16th. 17th, Joshua Johnson. 18th, TJ Bartell. 19th, looks like Nicholas Moreau. I can't tell there. I guess James Waltz would be 19th. Wayne Grossi, 20th. 21st, James Torrey. 22nd, Alan Crowell. Colton Gum, 23rd. Michael Blackner, 24th. Brandon Elder, 25th. And I have Nicholas Moreau currently gridding up in 26th, and that's going to round out your 26-car lineup here for this Bristol dirt race.
Laps.
Yeah, 26 cars. It doesn't look like, right now we do not have Torrey or Moreau gridding, or Kyle Milliken for that matter. All three of those drivers not gridding at the moment.
Yep. Good luck, guys.
Now, it's not uncommon. I mean,
may the mud be with you.
It's not unheard of. Some drivers like to start from the pits, especially if it's on a track that they didn't get a lot of practice on, because they don't want to get in there.
You talked to the nuns today, Tony?
Mess anything up for some of the other drivers, but they also want to try to get as much points as possible. So, I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, today's their day off.
Pace truck is moving, Jeremy. 150 laps here at this track. We do have a couple cars pulling down to the inside there.
Thanks, Josh.
Maybe fill us in on.
We're gonna need it tonight. These cars are evil.
So
these cars are evil here.
Handed out penalties from last week here. Lane Allen of the 14 going to be dropping to the back, and Brody Hanna. Actually, Stephen Lou Allen's going to go EOL along with Wayne Grossi. I don't know the penalties specifically, but it looks like a couple guys have.
I was just asking if you got blessed today. That's all I was asking. I wasn't asking for a backstory. I wasn't trying to get anything. Did you get blessed today or not? Good luck, guys.
If you're not feeling comfortable with the car, but you wanted to have a solid pit stall selection.
Michael, do you know where your pit stall is?
You want to qualify, and then you like to go to the back if you're not liking how your car's doing. Or if you get a penalty that's warrants EOL, that's the only two ways you would typically drop back to the end of the field.
Gosh, that's horrible.
Here at FTSR,
green. 1 gallon remaining.
3 guys do that tonight, so it's going to mix it up, especially for that 24 car, last year's winner. Really looking forward to see him go through the front. We know he likes the top side, but this is dirt. The grip here is fast. The track's fast on the bottom early. But we'll see how quickly to find his way to the top and find that speed. Appreciate you, Dustin, by the way, for being a producer and a co-host. We're going to see what we can't work some magic tonight, but the green flag is out. Really?
He's got a black flag.
For the 11, almost like he didn't shift down into the first or second gear. Still allows his 19 teammate Richie Coy to start fast early, but early on the 11 goes through fast. 19 having some issues with grip here. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2.
Come on with that.
So number 23, Brody Hanna, is going to be a couple spots up here early on.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that was a smart move by the 39 of Torgerson. Seen that 3 wide action going on, said, nah, it's way too early for this, Bubba, and decided to back out, and he decided to tackle that a little later on. But, I mean, they went back, 3 wide again on that.
Next time, Tony, let me know you're starting in second gear, bud.
Pretty crazy. Looks like the 37 of Dublé having some issues, Jeremy.
Dublé having issues, and your points leader, Richie Coy, coming down pit road on lap number 2. We saw him have a terrible start through 1 and 2, and now he's on pit road visiting his crew already. Not sure exactly what's going on with the 19 camp. I don't know if it's a equipment issue with him personally, or
2 laps down now.
The wrong setup. I don't know, but 19 in trouble road. You see the 37 on the Nerd TV replay. Makes a little contact, slides down to the infield wall, and hits it almost squared up with the nose. But that was such a slow amount of speed, Dustin. I don't think it's going to have any issues. And right now, we're seeing the 19 still sitting on pit road.
Yeah, not entirely sure what's going on here as he just gets released from his
turn a little bit for me. That'd be nice.
You know as well as I, this is a short track. These laps, I mean, they pick off fast. He lost a lot of time and a lot of ground on that one. Going to be very costly right now for the 19 crew as his teammate Tony Solari is just stretching out that lead. Do want to shout out on the Facebook side of chats from Nicholas Moreau, says he will not be here tonight, and he's probably going to miss a few weeks. Should be back in about 3 to 4 weeks. Unfortunate to hear that. We always love watching you race on the track, buddy, but look forward to seeing your return as well, is Josh Mayu. So again, thank you for that update.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And you said this is short track, laps tick quick, and that's exactly what we're going to see. We need to take a short pit stop like Richie Coy had. He's already 2 laps down to race leader Tony Solari, who jumped out to a massive lead. He was probably 2 seconds over his teammate, and then now all of a sudden, there's a shift of power. Second place, Chad Lang out of nowhere, he was multiple seconds back, and now he's within 1 second on race leader Tony Solari. That number 4 car is hauling the mail right now. And then also Ryan Hedrick, currently sitting in 3rd place, running the middle to upper groove already. One of these guys who enjoys running the upper half of the track whenever that is possible. Actually chatted with him as well right before this race. And he did finish 4th here last year. He said as long as he gets the slick part of the track on the long run down, he's feeling pretty comfortable with the chance of having a race victory here this season. So keep an eye on that 47 as he is kind of setting his own pace right now. See the 4-car of Chad. Let's get Chris back already coming down pit road here. But heading back to the 4-car of Chad Lang, he's still gaining, Dustin. He's 8/10 now off your race leader. Caution, first caution out presented by Roasted Gins Coffee. It looks like Michael Blackner in turns 3 and 4 in the 87 Red Bull Ford Mustang loops it around. Turn 3 solo all by himself. You're going to catch it on Nerd TV. Low entrance to the corner.
Oh, and then just hit that transition.
Yeah, just a really slick part there, low in the track for some reason. And with the apron baking, kick him sideways.
Ooh, Lucky Dog coming high. Lucky Dog coming high.
By the 11 of Tony Solari, your race leader, as he was coming up through there. After the 87 of Blackner lost it on hitting that transition, almost collected his Fury Motorsport teammate. Blackner is a Fury Motorsport driver there, as you see Tony Solari just miss it. So that was a close call there for the 87 and the 11. But again, caution out. I did want to make mention too that we were talking about Chad Lang. But prior to that caution coming out, he was a guy that took off right from the get-go. I mean, this guy was shot out of a cannon. He was pushing it 3 wide. It was, I mean, he's been doing really good. Like you said, the 47 of Hedrick, he knows how to get around this track. Last season, finished 4th. He's 1 position better right now. He's carrying some good speed. Tony may have some challenges.
Yeah, Josh, kidney stones, no fun, man. Especially when you're going to pass it. Ooh, boy.
Doyle Lawrence again, talking about minimizing
you on that one.
Is key. It always is, whether you're on dirt or pavement. And yes, as we highlighted, almost collected the leaders in that one. I definitely say it's probably a safe bet, Jeremy. There was probably a little pucker power on that one there, as Blackner seeing that green Menards car closing in on him.
Yeah, that was a really close call. I knew it was close, but going back and watching your replay, that was really close. We're super early in. We know Tony's got a great car here every time he steps on
the track's so tight.
And to see that almost end early, that would have been insane. I don't know if you noticed, Dustin. I was actually watching the pit exit there of Wayne Grassi. He came out of pit road behind the race leaders while still on physical pit road. And he said, you know what, I'm going to take this speeding penalty. He zoomed up to 60 miles an hour, full sent it out like he was Cole Trickle. Beat the
Wayne, I need you to come up here, man.
He gets the EOL penalty like he was going to beat. But he saved himself. So that was some excellent strategy to take that EOL penalty, because he was going to be back in the field anyway.
Wait for him up here, man.
Great call there by the 7.
Sometimes, I mean, you gotta call some audibles. I mean, and that was an excellent call there, knowing that the worst he was going to get was EOL. But that's a whole lot better than being a lap down here, especially
between me and Michael for the Lucky Dog.
So excellent call. I mean, that's why I love racing like this, and I love this league, because
you got a bull, man. Red Bull
like that. Willing to do the unorthodox, so to speak.
Yeah, you don't see that often. That strategy rarely comes into play, but when you have to use it, great heads up from him just to kind of go, hey, you know what? This is my 2 options. I don't think about this more than once or twice a year, but just boom, like on his time, he's like, I got to do this. So great heads up. These guys are side by side. That means we're half a lap away. We're going back to green flag. We're going to be going back on lap 17. Remember, this is scheduled 150 laps. There is a stage break at lap 50, so a third of the way to the race. We will see these guys have their guaranteed caution. And then 2 laps prior, you cannot make any pit stops here. That's the rule. Pit road is closed 2 laps prior. So the green flag is out. This time, Tony Solari gets a much better start than what he did on the initial start. But Chad Lang's going to hold an excellent amount of speed coming through the top. And it looks like the bottom's just not where it is right now. The Ford Chad Lang clears him by 2 car lengths. Chris Curtis in the 98, running one of the best races he's had early on. Going to be sitting in 3rd place. Ryan Hedrick also in the 47 is going to go side by side and almost collects himself the 11. Saves it going to the very far to the bottom of the track. He's going to lose 3 spots, dropping back to 5th place. 27 right now. Chapman and 98 Chris Curtis running side by side. It looks like the high side, Dustin, early on has picked up some speed.
Yeah, and you can see right now that that middle groove there is really starting to get slicked in all the way through. So you're seeing cars dive way down to the bottom like the 27 of Chapman, trying to pick up as much dirt as what they can to get that grip. And then you also see cars like the 98 of Curtis way up right now pushing that cushion, and the 47 of Hedrick's doing the same thing. So you're seeing 2 different distinct lines here right now. And I think what happened with Solari on that first one is it looked like he dipped his car down a little too low on that start and hit that transition. And Chad Lang was just able to, keep that thing wound up on that high side and just took off. But right now, Tony Solari trying to fight back and trying to catch up to that number 4, Jeremy.
Talk about pushing the cushion early. Go to Robert Malikian. This guy is already wall riding here 20 laps into this race, especially off of 3 and 4. That time off of 1 and 2, but watch how as he goes through 3 and 4. His rear end gets right next to this outside wall. Let's see how close it gets, just breathing on it. See a little bit of sparks. And I mentioned that during the pre-race. If you could just lightly graze the rear bumper on that wall, it keeps you in control, not too much slide. Right, that is a little too much there. You can't really tell, but he had a little bit of wall glue. He's going to drop him back in the spot on the 24 of Lou Allen, who's already picked up a lot of spots here. He is one of the guys that had the EOL, so he started about 25th place. And right now, Steve Lou Allen sitting inside the top 10, so 24 making some gains.
Yeah, 24 making some gains, but these guys back here are pretty racy, though. Talking about the 24 Lou Allen, the 23 of Hannah. You got the 22 of Milikian is back there as well. And then you got, right now, Gum is back there, but it's Richie Coy on the inside. He's sitting here trying to get in and get racy as well. But, all these guys, they're putting on a good show here. But, look at just the range of lines, Jeremy. Yeah, you got 2, 3, 4 different lines going in, coming out in the center. Everybody just trying to search for grip, trying to get away from the slick. Or maybe they're trying to find the slick. Remember, I had talked about their setups. They could have built their setups to, take on more of the slick part rather than, the grip part. And talking about slick, looks like the 11 of Tony Solari just slid right into that first spot there, passing Chad Lang. He's now, again, as he gets real close to that wall, has really stretched out that lead, Jeremy. So right now, Tony Solari back in command of this race.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it, but Richie Coy was your Lucky Dog award recipient sponsored by Martin Sports. He was 2 laps down when he had to make that really, really early pit stop there on lap 2. So he was able to get one of those laps back. So Richie Coy, first guy right now, 1 lap down. He's seen a little bit of action here with Ryan Chapman as he's battling the 14 of Lane Allen. As he also, I think, had that. No, he did not. No, he didn't have that speeding or the EOL. So yeah, 14 running really strong right now, 4th, but yeah, a little close call there.
Yeah, real close. That's what you call a slider line attempt. Quite a bit there. Got real close. The 27 had to check up there. Sometimes it's hard to really time those sliders to where you can do it. The preferred method is you take a hard line in to take it low to slide up in front of your competitor coming out of the corner. Sometimes you don't time that spacing properly. Sometimes you can chop the nose of your competitor like that. And if it wasn't for the 27 kind of steering up the track a little bit and throttling out of it, that could have been way worse because it looked like the 14 might have got a little close on that, just you know, the judgment on the spacing was just a little off, which it's hard, Jeremy. It's really hard when these guys are flying around this track like that. It's hard to make those judgments on the distance.
Yeah, you're really not kidding. I really noticed here, this track is slicking off a lot faster than what it did in the truck race on Wednesday. These guys are on lap 20, already seeing some sheen across the lower half of the track, and that's why you're seeing a bunch of these guys move up to the top, to the middle, trying to get to that loose dirt where there's more grip. By the same token, I'm watching these leaders like the 14 of Lane Allen, the 4 of Chad Lang. These guys are running the bottom half of the track. The 14 especially, he's running right against the inslide where the yellow line or the white line would be at Bristol, right up against that transition on the apron, and he's got some speed. He's getting his left front tire essentially in the loose dirt, and it doesn't help your rear end traction, but it seemed to work quite well here for the 14, except for that corner as he gets a little hot in there, slides up. But I've also noticed with that, with the slick track, we're seeing the transition of power of like who's faster, right? The 4 was way faster than Tony Solari in the 11 until the sheen came up. And now on that restart, the 11's in total control of this race over a second advantage over Chad Lang. So early on, this track has slickened up, and that just means there's over 100 laps more for these guys to find some grip on the slick part. But they have that caution in 16 laps, so they can make car adjustments if needed.
Yeah, they very well can. I want to shout out Doyle Lawrence as well, talking about Torgerson falling back as his set too loose or too tight, question mark, question mark, question mark. That goes right along with what we were just talking about, Jeremy, you know, and it's something that I had mentioned in pre-race, was, you know, some of these drivers will alter their setups. This is an open setup series. They will alter their setups to handle and perform better in that slick. Knowing that that slick is going to happen. It's not an if, it's a when it's going to happen at these dirt tracks, because it's just a product of the beast from, you know, being worn down and used up as much as what it has. So they will elect to be slower at the start, where you'd seen Chad Lang be faster, but once that sheen comes in and that slick comes in and they find it, that's when their speed comes in, kind of like you see Tony Solari right now is really performing. If you watch his car right now, Jeremy, he keeps it right in that slick. All the way around, he keeps it right in that slick, and that seems where his car is handling best.
Second caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee is out. It looks like it might be the number 7 of Wayne Grossi, which it is. Tricky turn 3 apparently is where it's biting people. You see him get through turn 3, extra loose, hits the apron, onto the flat stuff, and there is no grip on dirt down there with these Cup cars, and almost gets stuck on the banking transition, and that's going to bring out the second caution here, which is 14 laps away, Dustin, from this stage break. So it's going to be a really short stint, probably a 10-lap shootout, really, to get to your designated spot to get yourself as much stage points as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to Wayne Grossi on that one there. He tried. I mean, you've seen his tire spinning. He was trying to keep it down on the apron so the caution wouldn't come out.
And they were all going to pit in 11 laps.
His back end just kind of dipped up there right on the track enough for iRacing officials to say, well, no, that's it, caution flag. So, but to touch base on what we were talking about, like you said, we got 10 laps before that stage break. You know, these drivers, they could be wanting to make some adjustments on that, because they can make some adjustments down pit road, but right now it seems like the 11 of Tony Solari has made that right call. I mean, his car seems like it's ready and prepped for that slick, and this track is slicking up quite nice right now. Issues with the 24 of Lou Allen, not quite sure what's going on here, but he just stopped mid-track, Jeremy.
I'm trying to figure out myself as well, looking over replays and whatnot, and there is nothing to warrant him just stopping on the track. And he backs out of the car, and I don't see him towing, and I think he's might be potentially done. Hopefully everything's okay in the Steve Lou
I just
Allen
bit a dare
camp,
since I'm not getting any stage points until a lap down.
You know, there's no signs that I saw of him having to park right in the middle of the track and exiting his vehicle, so there's no damage to the car. Everything looked nominal. So, you know, that's a shame. That was your last year's winner.
I'm hoping that everybody pits in front of me.
Good, strong car coming up through the field.
He was solidly in the top 10.
The field. Yeah, he made well over 15 spots up in that short amount of time, and seeing our second disconnect, I think, eventually here.
Yeah, they are, because I can't. They're getting the lucky dog.
If I'd have to be a guessing man, Jeremy, I'd have to say that is probably my best guess, is possibly internet issue and a disconnect, because I just don't see him willingly doing that, because I mean he was running up in the the 6th, 7th, 8th position right there after.
I'm third in line right now.
Going back to the back, he'd worked his way all the way up. He was running solid, running very well, and there was just no reason whatsoever for that just to cut out. I mean, he was going down the backstretch with everybody else. I mean, everybody had to take evasive maneuvers. I mean, he just stopped. So hopefully everything's all right in the 24 camp. But Jeremy, by the time we get ready to go back here, we're at 42 laps. We have that stage break in 8 laps. Looks like we are going to be
run your race, dude. Run your race. We'll run ours back here.
Shootout by the time we get the green flag.
I get the lead lap.
Before these guys actually get the next caution flag presented by Roasted Gems for their completion of stage 1.
I think you nailed the hammer on the head there with Stephen Llewellyn. Fell out due to upload packet loss. So something's going away with the computer or the internet, kicking him out of the server. See if he can get reconnected. But yeah, it definitely takes him out of race winning contention, that's for sure. But this is dirt. You're going to see a lot of guys go multiple laps down. So if he can get back in quick enough, he can probably gain a decent amount of spots back. But we're going to watch these last 7 laps unfold here. Green flag is out. Tony Slard gets a great restart alongside Chad Lang as they get about 2 links. But this 11 just can't find the grip in turn 1. Turn 2, he makes it all back up. And right now, Chad Lang with the preferred line there on exit of the corner gets himself about a car length over the 11 here, but the 11 is showing some strong speed on the bottom half of 3 and 4. They're going to remain side by side with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, when these restarts are so hard, Jeremy, there's so much tire spin. I mean, you got to remember, these guys are on dirt. So when they are trying to wind these things up, there's so much tire spin. But right now, I mean, if things keep going, I think the 11 of Solari, just as he does that, he's going to prevail. His car is set up for that slick, but you see Chad Lane's going to try to pull the crossover and try to, use the exact same thing that he was doing. So these guys are definitely getting racy, Jeremy, trying to pick up every position possible for this. Shout out to Doyle Lawrence again out there. He's our outer race commentator there, so to speak. He's picking up some of the action that we might be missing, but he agrees on the track conditions, going from tacky to slick, and it's only going to get worse in the next 30 laps, he says. Hoping that his driver that he's rooting for, Torgerson, can make the right calls, and he is correct. The more that these cars race, the more slick that this track is going to get. So if these drivers don't have their cars set up right now, they might want to take the stage break to get those cars set up for that slick, because it's coming.
Clear inside.
2 laps to go here as the 11 will cross the line. The 14 of Lane Allen has resumed in 2nd place. Chad Lane just does not look like he has that slick setup of a car. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got over 100 laps left in this thing to find that grip and maintain some top 5 speed.
Troy just spun on the front stretch, knocked out of the points there.
These guys head off into turn 3 here, coming up to the last lap in stage number 1. Mr. Tony Solari trying to maximize his stage points, which this guy's been on a roll recently. He has found some momentum and just been carrying it and riding it throughout. And actually, we got a caution a half a lap before stage break, and this will be stage end here, if my ruling is correct from the conversation I had with the admin last week. But our 3rd caution tonight, and it looks like it might have happened on the front stretch with Troy Torgerson in the 39 coming off of turn 4. And that's a really weird place to get loose, Dustin. Like, his car looked like it was straight until it wasn't.
Yeah, that's tough. And like I said, a lot of the times on these here, we got to remember, these cars are not designed for dirt.
Lucky dog coming
these
high.
Are paved cars that somebody said, hey, let's throw them on dirt and let's just do it. And you see him get in the throttle there, and he shifts, and it almost looks like when he shifted, it started the tire spin on that one, because then you seen his tack really ping a couple times on it, indicating that he was actually losing traction on those rear tires. And that's the bad thing with the sequential shifting that this thing has. And I mean, let's remember, these cars really don't have a suspension either, Jeremy. So the rougher that this track gets, the harder it is, and you usually get a lot of ruts coming out of the corners or going into the corners or in the middle of the corners, right around there. Depending on how the track is ran, you can get some beefy ruts going through this these corners here. And if you hit it in one of these,
yeah, it looks like at least Ryan,
I mean,
Joshua, and TJ stayed out.
About running the next gens on dirt just for that reason. They really don't have a suspension. They're so rigid. You hit one of these ruts like that, and it's enough to break that traction,
Johnson.
and you're going to see tacks spike like that because they're just spinning tires.
If they could put a sprint car tire on the rear end of these next gen cars, we might see a whole different beast around here. But at least, Dustin, to your point with the shifting, the sequential shifting, at least they have a gear to grab. Most of the other dirt cars only have that one gear. It's all or nothing there. But yeah, it's just so slick out here. We've seen the voices from the real life guys in the Cup Series saying 50-50. They wish, or they like it, or they don't like it.
Pace car is out. Pits are closed.
And of course, typically it's the people who like dirt who are like, maybe we shouldn't do this. And it's vice versa. The people who don't run dirt are like, I kind of like this idea because it allows me to run dirt for once in my life. So, you know, the crowds have been okay here. Of course, the virtual stands are always jam-packed, right? But in the real life stuff, it's a toss-up. It was great at first, you know, it's a whole different thing. And now we've seen it for 3 years. So it just begs the question, like, is it worth staying? Do you think you're going to get more tickets sold on asphalt versus dirt?
Okay, Richie,
Me personally, I like
resume
seeing
at the
it,
end
but
of
as
this
an
lap.
expedition race, maybe, or maybe go to, you know, put the Cup cars on Knoxville and don't put millions of dollars into dumping dirt onto a really good asphalt track already, and make it an expedition or an all-star race even, right? So that's a couple ideas there, but I kind of agree with Troy as well. As much as I love dirt, it's just not for the NASCAR boys and in a points race.
Yeah, no, I like seeing it in some of the smaller series, like you know,
It's taking everything not to go into different lane here in the back.
All right, with because I mean that's where a lot of them have started, and that's where those series actually came from. But I mean, these cars here, I mean, when they designed this Gen 7 right now, I mean, we keep calling it the next gen, but I mean it's current gen. You might as well just call it Gen 7. You know, they designed this to be, one, safer, and two, to handle more ideally on a road situation. Something that was versatile both on oval and road. Dirt was nowhere in the thought process when they designed this car, Jeremy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. As we go back to green flag, Ryan Hedrick and Joshua Johnson restarting first and second place. A whole different lineup here in the top 3 or 4, really. So we're going to see what the 47 and 57 have in store for us as there's 2 teammates going at it. Chris Curtis on the top half from the 98, resuming in 3rd place, getting a really good line on the top, following Ryan Hedrick there.
That was
98 just has the top side a little more gripped up to his liking. 57, Joshua Johnson really hugging the bottom. Overdrives turn 1. He's going to lose all that speed by oversliding the entrance there. It's going to allow the 98 of Curtis to go side by side with Johnson here coming through 3 and 4. Just Johnson has so much speed on the bottom. Once he can, if he can maintain that grip level all the way through the corner, this 57's got something. He just has to be really consistent. And once again, he slides up a little heavy in turn 2. It's going to allow the 47 to maintain speed on corner exit. Chris Curtis almost was like, you know what, I want to push this thing 3 wide, and then last second was like, you know what, no, I'm good. No, 22, Robert Malicki into the wall there, losing quite a few spots. Someone loose there on the bottom as well. He looks like he gathers it up. That's going to be the 10 of Colton Gum. Little 3 wide action here midway through the field.
Yeah, and these guys, I tell you what, I mean, the 57 of Johnson's getting good runs and good grip down there like Lane Allen was earlier. And now you see Tony Solari really ripping that bottom line right now, still in that slick. So that still tells me his car is designed for that. But it is, I mean, it's getting, I mean, amazing grip down there on that bottom side as he passes the 98 of Chris Curtis. Mark the 11 of Solari up to P2, Curtis back to P3. And Ryan Hedrick right now, P4. Wow! Slides right up in front of the 98. Jeremy, not much room there at all with this. But this racing, as you see the 57 goes up high, little loose there as he looks out of sorts going into that corner. Now allows the 11 of Solari to get by him, regains the race lead, and now the 98 of Chris Curtis, Jeremy, on the inside.
It is so hard to focus a camera on any particular race right now. There's a couple of excellent battles, and the one you're watching there getting really dicey with the 11 to 98, just getting full sent into the corner a couple laps ago. I was watching my eye on the 22 of Malikian, the 4 of Lang, and the 23 of Hannah. Those guys were 3 wide at one point. The 4 and the 22 door checked each other. I thought Chad Lang was going to smash the inside water barrels there on pit road entrance, but by a mere probably a foot was able to avoid the inside wall. And they're still running almost side by side here. They're trying to get around Colton Gum, and once again, they're going to find themselves in a 3-wide predicament here, coming off turn 4. The 10 of Colton Gum gets loose, going to remain 3-wide until they clear him entering turn 1. The 10 does a good job not sliding it up into the door panel of Ryan Chapman and the 19 of Richie Coy. Those guys go mostly single file, but going back up to the front here. 14 of Lane Allen, one of those guys who pitted on that caution brake, finding a lot of grip in that car early, as him and the 23 are making their way to the top spot.
3-wide action again between the 30 of Bartel, the 57 of Johnson, and the 22. Actually, it was the 4 of Lang, so Lang on the move as well. Looks like the 57 of Johnson is falling back. He is struggling right now, getting under the attack from the 27 of Ryan Chapman. You see Richie Coy is on the move back up. Remember, Coy come in early in the race and hit that pit road. Hit pit road, was a lap down, did receive the Mark Sports Get a Grip Lucky Dog award, and is now back on the lead lap. TJ Bartel gets wicked loose in front of the 19, 3-wide situation for a brief moment, Jeremy.
The gap behind's increased to
3-wide all over the place right now, as some cars are starting to fall off and some cars are finally starting to find their niche around this track. So we're going to see a lot of diversity into this field. Ooh, the 14 Lane Allen on your screen just getting wicked loose off of turn 1. Come through turn 1 and 2, or turn 4 rather. Turn 1 and 2 still really loose right in front of Chad Lang. It's going to check him up quite a bit here as he gets a little off loose himself, trying to regroup his lane and what he's trying to do right now. But that's going to allow the 23 of Brody Hanna to take third place by about 5 car lengths over the 47 of Ryan Hedrick. Now under the attack by the 14 of Lane Allen, who has just found excellent speed here on the bottom half of this track. At the slickest part too, this is exactly what you need if you have to go another 60, 70 laps here at Bristol Dirt. Be in full control of your car on the slickest part of the track, so he's doing an excellent job. But Dustin, I think this is time for us to go picture-in-picture mode. We're going to keep our eyes on the action and go to commercial break. And we'll be back with you guys here momentarily.
6th place. Time was at 19.
Welcome back to full screen coverage here as we got our fourth caution presented by Roasted
we're in
Jim's Coffee.
fifth. Let's
This
see what we
time
can do
coming
from
by
here.
one of the fast guys on the track, the number 14 of Lane Allen. Upset car coming through turns 3. Checks up in front of Chad Lang in the number 4 going through 4. Gets tagged in the rear as you see it right there on the Nerd TV replay, and full sends him around the corner.
Roger.
On the bottom half of the track. And iRacing officials had nothing more to do but to throw out the yellow flag here for the 4th time this evening here on lap 78. See on board right there, just got upset right behind the 23 Brody Hannum. Gets tagged out by the 4 Chad Lang. 14 completely around, almost 180 degrees there, as the 4 basically suffers no damage to the front nose of that machine. So I think he's going to be okay there, but that 14 has so much speed here. It only put it back a few spots. Looks like he's sitting in 9th place. He's got some more work to do, but this is about the 3rd time I think he has to go back to the
Actually, you were holding your own, dude.
I mean, it can happen. I mean, you can work your way up. We've seen that Torgerson was part of an earlier caution. He's sitting 12th right now. Lane Allen part of this one here, now back to 8th. So I mean, you can make time up. Just like Doyle Lawrence says, you know, Torgerson has plenty of time.
I don't have no idea how many cars I've passed so far.
And he's absolutely right. We just passed halfway. We're working lap 81 of 150 total distance right now. Still plenty of time to work your way up there. Still plenty of time for stuff to happen too. I mean,
yeah,
you might see some bad luck strike some of these other drivers. You know, it's just it's hard telling. I mean, drivers that, like I said, Lane Allen ran so well.
I gave him a 2-lap head start and 2 laps and 50 laps.
The unfortunate one to bring out that caution there. So it's just there's too many variables, Jeremy.
There really is. Right now the track is just all slick but the very top half of the track, and you don't know, right? These guys don't run dirt, so you enter a couple corners and you're like, man, my car feels really good, and then you enter the next corner and all of a sudden there's a bump there or a rut, something you didn't expect. So then all of a sudden, boom, now your car's really upset or spinning around, and now you got people that are going faster that were slower earlier in the race, and so there's just so many different things going on, and you have to consistently, on a mental standpoint, just keep up to date with who's around me, who's faster here, who's on the top, who's on the bottom, who's coming through the field because I know they just spun out but they're really fast, who up front just got up there by luck. There's just, so many things. Thankfully,
and everybody tries to make us.
These guys are so fast all the time, and to see them have a little bit of an extra challenge on their plates, it allows us to have more of a fun time up in the booth here.
Yeah, but I mean, Jeremy, I said it before. I mean, dirt racing is so fun anyway. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching dirt racing more when it's with cars designed for dirt, because that's when you really see some wild racing. But I tell you what, for cars that weren't designed, and even trucks, talking about the Martin Sports Truck Series race that took place last Wednesday here at Bristol Dirt, for, you know, race cars and trucks that weren't designed for dirt, these things don't do bad. They put on a pretty good show. As we go back to green flag racing here, remember these restarts were a little tricky. A lot of tire spin on there, but it looks like the 11 of Tony Solari, much better start this time, Jeremy.
Colton Gilmarty, 3 wide, checks up super early. He falls back a couple spots here at the race lead. We have Fury Motorsports 1, 2, 3 on the bottom row here. 11 leading the way of the 23 and the 19. Chris Curtis trying to maintain second place here. He's been up front almost every single restart other than the initial start here. Still side by side with 23 of Brody Hannah. Looks like the 19 of Richie Coy has found himself in 4th place. Now maybe creeping to the bottom here, the 98 of Curtis, trying to get the top 3 to allow his teammates to be 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Let's see what happens here, and he does clear him. So right now, Fury Motorsports does hold the top, or all 3 podium positions really. Single file at about 5th or 6th place, and then the racing is still packed here with Chad Lang here running in 9th on the outside of the 30 of TJ Bartel, and Lane Allen there who spun up that last caution, trying to find a way to get around these guys to gain his positions back.
Yeah, and this is where, I mean, this is where it's gonna take a lot of time. You have to show a lot of patience here. Even if you feel that you are faster or know that you are faster than the driver in front of you, you can't push the issue here, especially on dirt. This dirt racing is an expertise in a racecraft that requires a lot of patience. and a lot of perseverance in a lot of areas as well. So these drivers running side by side like this, folks, even in the simulated world, I can tell you right now, this is not an easy feat. This takes a lot of skill, a lot of concentration, and these guys are showing a lot of patience right now.
They truly are. They know this track is slicked up, so it's more of a, you have to race the track than you do the car. But if you know your car's faster, then you decide maybe I gotta press the issue here. A little bit of racing with Robert Malikian and Ryan Chapman here. This is a battle for your 5th place position. It looks like Ryan Chapman's going to be able to take advantage of that. And this guy always finds himself late in the race in a good, strong position that contend for a top 5 or even a podium spot here, that being Ryan Chapman, especially in the truck series, but even in the Cup series too. He doesn't start well all the time, but somehow toward the end, Dustin, he finds himself in a really good spot.
Yeah, he always does. But I mean, again, that's that perseverance, that, you know, being very patient. As I'm watching a 4-car battle right now between the 10 of Gum, the 47 of Hedrick, the 44 of Beck, and the 39 of Torgerson. These guys have been duking it out like crazy right now, side by side. It's sometimes almost going 3 wide. And you see their cars, Jeremy, they have that little wibble wobble going down the stretch. They're doing that on purpose. They will preset up the slide in these corners like that, but at times, sometimes it's a little too much. But you got to remember, I mean, they're presetting this up, not knowing what the driver in front of them or behind them is even going to be doing. So at times, it's just a hope and a prayer that you guys don't meet up and try to occupy the same space at the exact same time as you see the 47 of Hedrick up into that top dirt.
Yeah, talk about trying to occupy the same space. Ryan Hedrick, you will lose every single time when you try to occupy the same space as that outside wall. It does not budge, and it kept him well within his boundaries here, but he's still holding tight here right on the top side of Colton Gum. About a whole entire lap and a half now being side by side, and he gets a great launch off of 2 this time, and it looks like momentarily he's going to be able to keep that position from Colton as they come through turn 4, and then that top side just prevails with so much more momentum. He's going to clear him about 3 car lengths as they enter turn 1, and now Colton got a loose car right in front of Troy Torgerson, who's trying to come back from his caution a few cautions ago. Currently running in, looks like the 13th place for that number 39 Chevrolet Camaro. Running the bottom now as Colton moves up to the top, trying to mimic that speed that the 47 is showing as he gets into the loose stuff, but hits that cushion, Dustin, and it just looks like he's too tight. No, actually, I'm going to take that back. He got tight to hit the cushion, and then all of a sudden that car got really upset, so he's making a fool of myself right now. But it just doesn't look like he can carry that speed like some of these other guys can.
No, and it's very tricky. I mean, there's a lot of throttle control, a lot of wheel control up there to run you know, that cushion up there and do what they call a tank slap, where you skim that wall, you slap that wall just ever so slightly. That's how you know that you're right at your limit there. But I see, Jeremy, there's a distinct difference here. A lot of drivers are having some struggles in that slick. Some are having some struggles up top. It does look like Torgerson, seems like his car is leveled out and a little bit more balanced now in that slick than what it was earlier. Whereas we just talked about Colton Gum up there pushing that cushion. His car did not look very good up there, but if he gets in the slick, looks a lot better. But back up front, Tony Solari still leading the way right now, working his way through lap traffic as he goes around the 7 of Wayne Grossi, the 57 of Josh Johnson, wall glued up on that wall, keeps it up there out of the way. That's a veteran class act move right there. Did not want to pull down in front of the leaders, Jeremy.
That's a big 10-4 on that. And he's one of those guys early on that looked like he had some speed, but I think I didn't mention this during the track conditions that we were talking about. This track gets slick on the bottom, right? And then you move up top to try to find that speed. But right now, I would say about 5/6 of this track is all slicked off, other than the very top half or top portion of the corners, right? So now, when you have all this slick space, the overall speed is back to the bottom, even though it's still slick. Everywhere's slick, right? So a lot of these guys have started to move back to the bottom. At least the fast guys running in the top 5, they're all running the bottom half of the track. You see 98 right there, Chris Curtis, he's hugging the apron line right there. You can see the white line underneath his left front tire. A lot of these guys are just doing that, including your race leader, which You mentioned Tony Solari. He's got a 6-second lead now over second place in his teammate, the 19 of Richie Foy, and he was 4 seconds ahead of him a few laps prior. So right now, the 11 has just an insane amount of speed over his teammate. 8 seconds now over Chris Curtis, 8.5 over fourth place Ryan Chapman. So right now, these Fury Motorsports drivers, at least Tony and Richie, are just doing really well like they did on Wednesday.
Yeah, they really are. And I think what you were, something else to look at too, Jeremy, is some of the leaders that after we had not the last caution, but the caution before that, when we come back from the ending the first stage, we had drivers like Ryan Hendrick up there. Josh Johnson was up there, and those drivers have now fallen back to 10th and 16th respectively. A lot of the other drivers came into pit. Yeah, it's dirt racing. Tires don't really play a huge factor in that, but a lot of times weight does. Some of these cars could have come in, could have put some fuel in there, enough to sit here and offset the weight jacking a little bit to allow that car to handle a little bit better in the slick, or maybe a little bit better up on that high cushion, where the other drivers elected to stay out. They don't have that advantage there. So, again, there's always strategies working all over the place, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely, and kind of like how that plays into the weight situation there is, if you put an RC car on some ice and you mash the gas pedal or the joystick, whatever you're using to drive your RC car, you're just going to have massive tire spin. There's no weight pressing it against the ice, and the ice is still slick, right? Now, if you put 1,000 pounds on that ice and mash the gas pedal, there's going to be a little grip, because we have all that weight, that gravity putting all that pressure on the ice. It's gonna dig in a little bit. Right, so you're gonna get some grip. So these guys pitted, they got their fuel tanks filled up, and now they got that extra weight. So now they can go to the corners with a little bit of extra grip. They can dig into the dirt a little more. It's gonna allow them for some faster speeds, and you're seeing it. A little 3-wide action here with your race leader, the 11, Tony Solari, going 3-wide with the 47 and 37 teammates there, Ryan Hendrick and Brian Dublé, trying to pass a lot of this lap traffic, which is causing him to slow down quite significantly. As he gets through the majority of it, but now he's still got Troy Torgerson and a couple of other guys in front of him.
Yeah, now the 39 of Torgerson, I mean, we know that he's fast. Bartel has been fast. Jeremy, this right here is Tony Solari getting ready to pass 11th place Torgerson and 10th place Bartel. That is your top 10, the start of it right there, that 30. So, I mean, this 11 is cooking right now. I mean, he's putting down some blistering paces. And he's doing it in, amazing style as we're working lap 112 of 150, Jeremy. I mean, there's only 38 laps left as he keeps going. At this rate, I mean, they'll be lucky to have the top 5 still on the lead lap by the time this race is done, as long as it goes green flag the rest of the way.
At his pace, I think you're absolutely correct. We are currently 113 of 150, so was that 37 laps to go here roughly before this race is all said and done. And at this rate, I think, top 5 at most will be on the same lap as long as it stays green the rest of the way. And this track is really slicked off as we keep talking. So, and the handling's not there. We've seen the 57 who was fast early. He's all over the place. A couple of other guys just going really slow just to maintain, car control. So, just laps tick away. We're going to find this out. But we're going to kick it over to our second commercial break here this evening. So, I'll be back to you guys after a few messages.
Outside, clear high.
The gap to Curtis behind us now, 4.3 seconds.
Car outside. Clear high.
am sweating up a storm here.
4.6 seconds.
2.
And back to full screen action here as we're counting down the laps. 28 laps here in this Bristol dirt race for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series at the simulated Bristol International, or Motor Speedway, rather. Some pretty intense racing going on. We've seen the 98 and the number 4. They were hashing out there for 3rd place and podium position. Looks like Chad Lang does have the advantage over the 98 Chris Curtis right now. And we saw some intense racing from the 23 of Brody Hanna and the 14 of Lane Allen there, making a little bit of contact. 14 had a sidestep to the apron there momentarily, regained the position, and now passed the 23 back as he's now put himself in 6th place. Ryan Chapman still running a solid top 5 here, right behind the 47, trying to get around some of this lap traffic here. As him and Chris Curtis now looking to be a bumper to bumper momentarily as well to hash out these final 25 laps.
Yeah, a lot of excellent racing, and I'm seeing a lot of respect by these guys and a lot of patience. Because, I mean, as you can see, these cars are all over the place, Jim. You can see the 10 of Gum was all over the place. The 4 of Lang was all over the place.
I mean, I do, but no.
I mean, that's just common practice when it comes to these cars on dirt like that, and these drivers know that. So
he's earning it.
A little bit more on the patient side before they push an issue or anything else. But, again, they're also running for position. They're wanting to try to get as much as what they possibly can. So it's, I mean, it's crazy the way that these guys do it. But right now, Jeremy, Tony Solari, this guy right now, 23 laps to go. This guy is on a mission right now. He is looking to, he's chasing down his Fury Motorsports teammate Brody Hanna to lap 7th place.
20 laps to go.
22 laps left to go. He is chasing down to lap 7th place, Jeremy. This guy is on rails, and I know there's a couple people in Las Vegas right now that are probably hooting and hollering. Ooh, close call there, right in front of the 11.
Speaking of hooting and hollering, the 11 and Tony Starr is probably like, woo! I just avoided my 2nd wreck I could have been in this evening. Once early on, about, what, lap 20, and then now here on lap 130, 20 laps to go. Almost got involved there with the 57, but now he's up to 14 in front of him, who has been such a dominant top 5 car all night long up until about maybe lap 100, 110. He made that pit stop. He tried coming through, and it just has not had the speed ever since, as he's about to go a lap down to the clutches of the number 11, Tony Solari, who is now 8 seconds in front of his teammate in 2nd place, Richie Coy. Tony Solari just got to hold on for 19 more laps, and this guy has got it done. I know he's hoping to keep this thing green the rest of the way, but even if there's another caution, the 11's proven that he can get these restarts done after lap 2. He gets such a great launch from the bottom. No one has really been holding. Oh, and there's the caution right in front of Tony.
Think about if I should pit or not.
Barely makes contact to the right rear of the 11. That's going to be the number 10 of Colton Gum.
Tires.
Round in turns 1 and 2. It's going to bring out our 5th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee as we're going to the Nerd TV replay. To recap that wreck there by Colton Gum as we're seeing it from the front stretch. Coming through turns 1. Little hot and heavy here. And then some reason gets really loose there. I wonder if he hit the cushion pump.
He almost looked like he had to, ooh, jeez. It almost looked like, Jeremy, sorry to cut you off, that he had to check up a little bit for the 90-80. He come in with so much speed. I'm wondering if maybe he didn't. That wasn't a little bit of brake lock up there that sent that car into a spin. As you see the 90.
Your conscience can't be clear until we get this next restart.
Yeah, it looked like, yeah, Wayne Grassi, the 47. Barely missed him on the top. The only person who hit him is your race leader.
It's like just Chad Lang pitted.
Rear end axles and whatnot out of these next gen cars.
Chad Lang and Brody pitted.
Specifically, is just not built to be tough, durable.
Right.
When it makes contact, you mentioned it's a road racing car essentially on an oval. So
I couldn't see anymore, but I was knocking them too.
Parts in that area. And it doesn't look like it's affected the 11 of Tony Solari as he's sitting here on these pace laps.
Yeah, and the good thing about, I mean, even if this was the paved version of Bristol, not the
I have actually passed every vehicle on the racetrack.
That big of a factor. It doesn't matter if the body's, banged,
at least once
beat up or anything else. As long as you still have full power under the hood in that power plant, as long as that thing still
and the pace stroke,
the way the setup is meant to, then it's good. So I mean, it looks like right now, I mean, just visually, that the 11 of Tony Solari is good, as we get a good shot right now. It doesn't look like there's really any damage on that right side. Like you said, no axle damage or anything else on that right rear, which is, you know, can happen with minimal contact. I mean, we've seen a number of drivers last season, Jeremy, get taken out because of a busted axle like that coming in, and that's an 8-minute repair minimum on some of those. So I have to agree with Doyle Lawrence in the chats as well, saying that was close. He'll need to change his underwear.
We got to run a full tank in order to find that out. So what gear are we starting in?
Jeremy, it's going to get crazy. 15 laps left. This is where we're going to be able to really see what's going to happen, and who's going to try to take the bacon on this one.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty crazy. You're going to see a couple of these guys probably go around here. Well, at least I thought we were going to see it. Colton Gum being one of those guys. He was third in the lineup right now, but he's not third in position. So I think they're just trying to sort out who's where.
Okay, Richie, get ready. Race will resume at the
see
end
these
of this
guys
lap.
with 1 lap to go take the wave around or go to the back.
Yeah, I was in second with over a 5-second gap. Tony was out in front of me by like 6.
Looks like he's going to be dropping back.
Now everybody's up
It
here.
looks like a nice little parking lot here on the back stretch. You're seeing TJ Bartell trying to slow down, waiting to see who needs to pass who as you get all the leaders to the front half of the field, all the lappers, which there's a bunch of them right now, to the back half of the field, which it almost looks like they kind of got it sorted out. You're seeing the 30 of TJ Bartell pass a couple guys here, gets himself lined up.
Green flag.
Looks like they're going to go 1 to go for the green flag here. I know that Levin's hoping this is the final restart he has to see, as we're going to have 12 laps to go once this green flag flies. He's like 5 cautions in, we're done. Hopefully no more. Chris Curtis has one last chance here, maybe even a second, to see what he can't do. This time, Chris Curtis has been starting on the top for the most part. Let's see what he can do on the bottom. Pace truck is down. Green flag is out. The 19 matches the speed of the 11 on the restart. 98, Chris Curtis, a little bit of tire spin. Richie Coy dives it in deep through turns 1 and 2, able to get a short amount of time in the race lead, but the 11 has some great grip. 98, Chris Curtis almost spins out there, drops a couple positions back. 11 and the 19 almost making contact, being teammates. Still side by side for the race lead, coming off the corner, and oh, the 11 of Tony Solari almost gets spun, or almost spun himself out there off of turn 4, and allow the 19 of Richie Coy to maintain the race lead, Dustin, as we're headed off to 10 laps to go. Oh, we got more contact in the back to 14, the 98. Let's lay down to Chris Curtis just outside the top 5. Making contact, it's going to stack up mid-pack.
Yeah, a lot of these cars. Oh, contact there between the 42
for pace car on the backstretch.
Curtis. Everybody stacks up. Look at them stack up back there. Everybody's just trying to get out of the way here as everybody's trying to do it. Jeremy, there is action all over the place right now. As these guys, it looks like the 47 into the wall.
57 sideways, the 44 Chris Beck. Caution is out for the 6th time here.
Yes, you are. Because I was pinching you down like crazy.
1 and 2. You're going to see all the action here on the Nerd TV replay. Looks like these guys are 3 wide right here on the top half of the track, and the 57 was not his fault. He just got.
That's why I didn't want to see that caution come out,
so to speak. There, he was the cream filling between 2 Oreo cookies, and just caution came out. There was just so much going on. There was 4 wide at one point, several 3 wides through the same corner. You're going to be on board with 44 Chris Beck, who's just innocent victim right there. Just those guys wrecked in front of him, and yeah, ramped up the wall there. It's so close for the dirt to going over top of that wall there on the outside, and just not what the front guys wanted to see, but it's going to rewind them up and make us have a nicer or more fun of a show for you guys watching.
Jeremy, I'm going to be honest. If I'm going to be brutally honest, that caution was like 8 corners in the making because these cars were slideways and sideways for about 2 laps prior to that even going on, and there were so many close calls that I'm surprised it took that long for that caution to come out. But that just goes to show you, kudos to those drivers for holding on to it that long.
So dirty.
That was a good bit of driving right there, Jeremy.
You're not wrong. That was definitely in the making, and as you guys continue to get stacked up, I thought a lap prior to that there was going to be a caution for sure, and that never thrown. The flagman never thrown the flag, so I don't know how he made it that long, but kudos to the 19. You have him on your screen right now. Currently in P1. This is the first time he has led all race
Pace
long.
cars
It
out.
only took him
Pits
140
closed.
laps.
What's the over-under?
He had an excellent start over Tony Solari on that restart, and he just needed to hold it. He was side by side with Tony the entire time before that caution came out. 19 Richie Coy had the preferred lane on corner exit when it was thrown, and was able to keep him in P1. Now, how will Richie Coy control this restart? We've seen him match the speed with the 11 when he's not in control. Does he get a great jump and run to the top early? Or
Vader's taking the top.
Bottom and allow maybe Tony Solari to try to change up his pace, because right now Tony is
It's not. I think I get a better restart up there.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm Richie Coy, a leader's choice in lanes,
Especially with me,
I
actually,
would be choosing that top side. That top side is where that run is going to come at. That's where you're going to be able to maintain that speed. I know the 11 of Solari is fast on that inside lane. He's shown it a number of times, but if I'm the 19 at this point in time, Jeremy, I'm betting it all. I'm taking it to the table. I'm going the top side, and it looks like the 19 may be electing that top side. And Jeremy, I'd have to say this could be the winning moment, the winning decision. With 5 laps to go, we'll have 4 to go when they get the green flag for Richie Coy taking that top side for this restart.
And this is why I call you Larry McReynolds for our group here at Nerd TV and Nerditudes, because you make all the right calls when you do make it. And we're going to see what this looks like with a 4-lap shootout here at the Bristol Dirt Race for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series guys at FTSR. Richie Coy, like I said, going to be starting first for the first time all race long here. What can these guys do? Fury Motorsports currently holding 1, 2, 3. Ryan Chapman's here to spoil it, maybe once again starting in 4th place. Green flag is out. 11 does not get a great start, and actually he's going to drop back multiple positions. Ryan Chapman's going to quickly take over second. Tony Solari makes contact with his teammate Brody Hanna. Zerd puts him 3 wide here momentarily through turn 2. Coming off corner exit, looks like a pretty clean corner except for the 27 of Ryan Chapman, who made some contact and now drops back 4 or 5 positions. It's going to put him back to 6th place. Right now, Fury Motorsports holds 1, 2, 3. 5th place, or 4th place rather. There's going to be Lane out on the 14. In the 4 makes more contact with 98. These guys have been cashing it out pretty much for the past 40-some laps here. Top 5, almost top 10, get all single filed out here. Just a couple of 2x2s late in the pack here. We got 3 to go here. Richie Coy has got a 3-car length advantage. The 11 of Tony Solari tries to drive it in a little too deep.
Oh, we got a spin.
The ground here. And the green-white checkered attempt number 1 will happen as the spin out there by Kyle Malikian. Or Robert Malikian, sorry there. Oh, and Rain Guarassi late into the run after the caution has been thrown, comes in and T-bones the 22. I don't know why that happened just yet. We'll try to get that on your Nerd TV coverage here, but that is your 7th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee this evening.
Yeah, and it looks like
you saying 40 for me or Tony?
Too much mustard on that car there. A lot of wheel spin. Oh, Torgerson, big time contact.
I was doing
there.
39 to 41.
In the chats being Mr. Doyle Lawrence. Not going to be happy about that one there. That was some hard contact. We're going to try to get on board, but Jeremy, looked like a little too much wheel spin coming into that corner there, and it was just too much. I mean, that's all she wrote when she came in on that one. We're gonna ride on board with Torgerson on this one here. You see the contact there, and Lang had nowhere to go. The 22 was getting loose, pumped off the barrels. What bad luck there! Right off the barrels and right back up in front of the 39 of Torgerson, Jeremy.
Yeah, Lawrence, that was nothing to do with the 22. He just hit the wall and it bounced him back up in front of traffic, and it broke the right front axle piece off the 39 of Torgerson. That wheel was left front tire, excuse me, was jacked up, bent the wrong way. So this is going to be an extended pit stop. Biz Knight's probably done. 2 laps to go essentially left in this race. Torgerson probably has that 8-minute required repair to get that thing taken care of.
They were enough
There's not enough time here to get that done. So looks like he'll be finding himself in pit road until the checker flags fly, unless there's multiple green-white attempts happen. And you see the 7 here. Oh,
is that when we were both low?
By Robert.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just terrible call to. Maybe that's what you're referencing, Lawrence. Yeah, I think that's what you're referencing with the 7 car there. But
and I'd have to agree, Jeremy. That's probably what he's referencing there. Yeah, that there was just bad timing on it with the 39 to Torgerson. That was just Jeremy, I haven't seen a car bounce off the barrels like that and right back up into traffic as crazy as that happened in quite some time. And just, it's safe to say that Dirt Bristol is not a good track right now for the 39. He's ready to get this in the rear view.
Leader's taking the top.
Yeah, he's found himself in multiple predicaments, and in the sim racing world, those water barrels or sand barrels, whatever they're filled with these days.
Okay, Richie,
I didn't realize they're just as bouncy as a concrete wall in this game. But it is what it is there, and it caused for headaches from the 7 and the 39, as they have some repairs to make. With a green-white checker too, you literally have no time to get that thing set up and ready to go. But this allows Tony Solari to make one more effort, Dustin, at this restart. He had a terrible restart last time. The 19 just ate him alive. He had some extra tire spin. He overshot a corner. Looked like he was going to fall back to 3rd place maybe. Looked like Lane Allen was going to make an attack for the podium position.
Green, let's go.
And now they're regrouped. The 11 knows how the 19 is going to restart, at least potentially. So does he change his game up? Maybe he lags back a little bit more. Maybe he tries to jump a little bit earlier
The guy behind
to compensate. We're about to find out here as they're going through 3 and 4 to get this restart going. The 8th time we're going to see the green flag fly.
Clear to the bottom.
Wayne Grossi backs out of the server. His too much damage to get repaired here in that number 7 Pennzoil machine, but looks like the 11 will lag back a little bit. Green flag is out. That's not going to help him too much, but he does maintain speed, so this is going to be great to see what the 11 can do here. Excellent restart. Coming through turn 2, this is where the 11's shown his speed all night long, and once again that prevails. The restart's going to work in the 11's favor as they head through turns 3 and 4. Let's see if the yellow flag or the white
shift
flag
freaking second.
first. Coming through turn 4, looks like no caution. This will
Son.
settle the race once and for all here. White flag is out. Tony Solari, 2 car lengths over. Now Brody Hanna, who took over 2nd place.
Yeah, I got a little hot there. Sorry about that. I don't think we touched though, did we?
23 of Brody Hanna sends a 23
Did we?
deep in the corner,
Sorry.
but it will not be all. Checker flag, Martin Sports winning moment belongs to Tony Solari in the 11, and basically all of Fury Motorsports as they go 1, 2, 3, as they stack them up behind them. Excellent job there. Well way to take advantage of that restart.
What a way to lay it out. I mean, for a restart to have to be as spot on as what it needed to be, Tony Solari saved it for the very last restart. Did exactly what he needed to. All he had to do was maintain speed with the 19 of Coy. And like you said, he was so strong on the exit of 2. That's where his car shined. Excellent racing back there for the rest of the guys. I mean, it was a drag race for 4th, 5th, and 6th between Curtis, Allen, and Lang. I mean, these guys, I tell you what, kudos to these guys. I mean, these guys, they always put on an excellent show. All these drivers, you guys did excellent. For anybody that goes back and watches this, or anybody that might be simulcasting this while they race, I know that's a thing. You guys did an excellent job. Bar none, you guys did fantastic, Jeremy.
For those who simulcast while racing at a dirt race, hats off to you regardless of any outcome that you have. That is a feat all in itself. I would not be partaking in that personally because I would have no focus on that. But, some people can get the job done. But this is time to go over the unofficial results for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. As race is completed, Tony Solari does take home the checker flags this evening. I think it's his 2nd win this season. Brody Hanna, 2nd place. Richie Coy, top 3, all Fury Motorsports. Last time this happened, we had them all 3 in the chats at one time. We'll see if this may happen again. Curtis finishing in 4th. Lane Allen, 5th. Chad Lang's going to finish in 6th. Ryan Chapman, 7th. TJ Bartell in 8th. Justin Diltz, 9th. First car 1 lap down in 10th place, the number 47 of Ryan Hendrick. 11th place, Kyle Milliken. 12th place, Chris Beck. 13th, Colton Gum. Troy Torgerson does end up in 14th. Joshua Johnson, 15th. Robert Malikian, 16th. Brian Dublé, 17th. 18th place belongs to Steve Loomis. 19th, Wayne Grossi. James Wallace does round out your top 20. 21st, Stephen Lou Allen. 22nd, Michael Blackner. 23rd place is going to be Alan Crowell. 24th, Brandon Elder. 25th, James Torrey. And the last car that technically made grid but did not show up was that Nicholas Moreau 15. He does get the final grid spot technically in 26th place. And this is going to bring us to our only full screen commercial break this evening as we're going to wind up Fury Motorsports for their post-race interviews. We'll be back with you guys after a few short messages. All right, guys, welcome back here to the Martin Sports Post-Race Show. We're going to be talking to the top 3 drivers from tonight's Bristol Dirt Race, presented by Mach 1 Performance, every Monday night as we do so. And we're going to bring in first of the 3 Fury Motorsports drivers, Mr. Richie Coy and the number 19 DeWalt Ford Mustang. Mr. Richie, do you have a copy?
What's up, nerds?
Richie, you almost had it, man. You took you 140 laps to get to first place on that restart. You had a hell of a drive through turns 1 and 2 to clear your teammate for the first time. And then that next caution kind of bit you there. Anything that you had on that final restart to kind of keep control of that lead?
Yeah, I've had issues for whatever reason on this dirt, not shifting. And it was fine all race long until that last restart. It just wouldn't go into second gear. And all that jump that I got right in the very beginning of that restart went away as I tried to continually shift it going down the front stretch. And then it was, once he got in under me like that and I couldn't pinch him down like I did in the last restart, it was over. He was better than I was anyway, but the restart helped me out there. I mean, he was out 6 seconds on me. He was truly better than I was anyway.
Yeah, and like Jeremy said, Richie, it took you 140 laps. I mean, that's usually a lot longer than it normally takes you to try to find or get close to the front. But you had some early race issues there. Jeremy and I didn't know what was going on. We seen you pull off, go down to the pits. You sat in the pits for a while. You went a lap down. You got the hashtag Get a Grip, Martin Sports Lucky Dog. Fought your way back. What was going on? What brought that whole ordeal and probably a painfully much longer race than what it should have been for you?
So we came in for that initial start, and my teammate started in second gear. I started in first gear. I got a great launch. I thought it was fine, but apparently iRacing said I jumped the flag and gave me a stop and go with 26-second penalty. So at that point, I figured, well, let's just go out and pass every vehicle on the racetrack at least once. And we went ahead and did that.
Yeah, I think actually you were 2 laps down, so you passed everyone at least twice.
Including pace car twice.
I thought maybe you had a mechanical issue with your rig or something, but that would make sense that they threw you down for pit road for a penalty. That would explain the 2 laps down, man. That's unfortunate, but you recouped, which is awesome. So you had a fun of a time trying to pass a bunch of cars to make yourself back up there in the second place, or third place, rather. But, man, floor is yours. Who do you want to thank before we let you go tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank my teammate Tony for such great restarts. But yeah, now Fury Motorsports 1, 2, 3. You got the other 2 guys up here. I mean, at the end of the race, there it didn't matter which one of us won the race. I think the best car won. Tony definitely was a class of the field tonight. I think I was probably second best. Brody got new tires, so he was up there, which was again just great for Fury Motorsports. So thank you to them. Thank you to you guys. You guys do a fantastic job. I see Dustin, you're in the booth tonight. So yeah, thanks to the league, and thanks to everybody who watches. Tony's mom and dad. I think I already got a message from Tony's mom already. So congrats to Tony on his win, 2 in a row for Tony. So awesome for him.
Yeah, definitely. Well job for him. And yeah, Dustin has joined me in the booth tonight. He loves the dirt, so he wanted to have all the focus on him, right? But we'll go and let you go, man. Congratulations once again.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too. And that was third place finisher, the 19, Mr. Richie Coy, the DeWalt Ford Mustang. And now to bring in another one of his teammates, Mr. Brody Hand, the 23 Sim Racing Points Ford Mustang. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Brody, what an eventful race for you. You had multiple contacts. I think one with the 57, a couple with the 14. You had a hard-fought battle trying to keep the top 5, but toward the end, Richie said you had a little bit of fresher tires than him, and allowed you to play the strategy right and to bring it home second place. How did you get the job done?
You guys saw that. I was hoping you didn't see that. Yeah, no, it was. I'm just kidding. It was an eventful night for sure. A lot of hard racing with the 14. I gotta say, good job to him. I just, I think we're all just kind of hanging on out there at some point, trying to survive, and it was a good race with him. Yeah, I decided to pit there on the next to last caution. I was like, you know what? There's 7 cars on the lead lap. I'll come in and get tires, and I in full fuel just to kind of load that back end down, kind of get some extra grip, and it actually really worked really well. A couple guys had pit road penalties, moved up to I guess 5th, got a few positions on the restart. Next thing I know, I'm behind my 2 teammates. So I was like, okay, well that's it's good. And then just stressful trying to hang on through those restarts. But as well as we did tonight, I'm still okay if we never come back here on dirt again.
Oh, Brody. I love your passive aggressiveness there when it comes to stuff that you don't like, but you run so well at. I remember a time or two last season where you sat here and said that you did not like these cars, yet how many wins did he get? Like, 4? You got 4 wins last season in one of the series. So I tell you what, though, walk us through, because, I mean, it's you and your Fury teammates had been all over the place. I mean, well, except for Tony. I mean, Tony walked away with it. He had a rocket ship, but you and Richie had been through this field. Kind of walk us through a little bit how it was working your way through the traffic as the track, degraded and slicked up. How difficult did that make it trying to get to where you finished at in this race?
Well, first off, I got to say give everybody in this race a props and an awesome job, because tonight's race was better than what we saw on TV. It's better than what I've seen in the official racing. Tonight's racing was great, and that's why these guys are here, is for some clean green flag racing, and everybody here, provided that for the most part. Of course, we had our usual cautions, but I gotta say, give everybody in the race a great job, because it was top notch. We had some good long green flag runs, and got to thank them. But yeah, I think everybody out there, your mindset is you're just out there to try to hang on, get what you can, get to the finish, and just you're working so hard trying to control your own car, much less where the cars are around you. And it's a different mindset. You have to come in there with kind of an open mind of, yeah, there's probably gonna be car contact. It's probably not malicious or anything, and just try to survive. Try to put yourself in position and survive to the end. But again, I gotta thank everybody in the race tonight. It was a good race, good clean races. We had our accidents, but you're gonna have that, and congrats to Tony and the whole team. We worked a little bit on the setup, trying to find a good setup for slick conditions, and I think it really paid off there at the end.
Yeah, no, I'd have to say, Tony, Tony, geez, Brody, I have to say, I agree with you. Jeremy and I talked about it throughout the broadcast about, just the level of patience that all the drivers were showing out there, knowing that everybody's car was, really not handling very well. It's on dirt, that slick was getting real wide, real nasty at times. I mean, there was a lot of patience. A lot of high level of driving skill was shown out there. I mean, it's all of us up here in the Nerd TV booth, 110% agree with everything you said. I mean, you guys and everybody out there putting on one hell of a show. But with that said, I mean, the floor is yours. I mean, you already thanked the drivers. Thank them again. Thank anybody that you would like to for tonight. It's yours, buddy.
Well, thank you. Got to thank you guys for continuing to do an awesome job on the broadcast, bringing full throttle sim racing to the masses. So thank you and Jeremy for sticking it out and being able to do an awesome job. Got to thank again everybody in the league. We maybe got 4 or 5 guys that actually run dirt. So to take this car on dirt and to perform like they did tonight just speaks to the level of performance and the professionalism of the guys that run here. Got to thank the team, of course, Fury Motorsports, Richie and Tony for doing the majority of the heavy lifting, trying to find something that'll drive well here on the slick. And got to thank Martin Sports for sponsoring the trucks. Unfortunately, we ran into trouble on lap 11 in the trucks and didn't get a chance to really show what we had. But got to thank Martin Sports for sponsoring the truck series, Mach 1 Performance for sponsoring the Cup series, and everybody for sticking with us in the league. And I am looking forward to getting off dirt and going back to do some real racing.
Yep, you're going to be on asphalt for the rest of the year. This is the only dirt race you'll be partaking in, so no worries there. But yeah, have a good night, man, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. That was number 23 Sim Racing Points Ford Mustang, Mr. Brody Hanna. Now it's time to bring in your race winner to victory lane, the number 11 of Tony Solari in the Menards Ford Mustang. Do you have a copy?
What is up, nerds? How you guys doing?
We're doing phenomenal up here. That was an excellent race. Brody said it best. We just talked to him. He said it was one of the best races he has seen all weekend long, no matter if it was in the real world or during the officials or anything of that nature. From your window, you had a couple really close calls. From like lap 20, you almost got involved in a wreck. I think it was with Blackner. And then 20 laps left in the race, you almost got involved at the 57. Outside of that, your car was just super dominant compared to your teammates. So what did you do differently to secure that win and have such a much stronger car than everybody else?
Well, I'm human just like everybody else, and I make mistakes just like everybody else. And early on too, the track was not great. And towards the end of the run, when the track got all nice and dark, kind of like at the end of practice, it just felt it was like on a rail. I don't know if you saw. Sometimes I could get I like to run the car really with a lot of yaw on it, so it gets really sideways, and it would just arc around the corners just perfectly, and great drive off, and yeah, just kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, it was poetry in motion to watch you race. And I mean, Jeremy and I up here and everybody that follows and watches Nerd TV and Full Throttle Sim Racing on Nerd TV, I mean, they know that dirt is one of your specialties, so to speak, and it's the thing that you really enjoy doing quite often. Kind of tell us, I mean, at one point in time, you were almost ready to lap 7th place. I do believe, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, I said that if it kept going green, that we were going to be lucky to even have the top 5 on the lead lap. And you were about to make a believer out of everybody on that one there. But when that caution come out and going through those restarts, what was going through your mind knowing that, I mean, the track had pretty much been used up? I mean, the cars had pretty much been used up, and you guys, I mean, you had to be on your A game on these restarts coming forward, and that entire lead was just taken away. Kind of walk us through, your mindset on that and how you prepped yourself to get to where you are right now, which is Mach 1 Performance Victory Lane.
Well, I had Richie on the outside for those last few restarts. I know it was a shame to see that caution come with 12 to go, and I was getting ready to, lap. I know even Brody had mentioned, he's coming, and I know I was getting ready to lap those guys, and the caution came out, which was fortunate for Brody too, because he had a decent car at the end, getting third or second out of it, and again, I had Richie on the outside, and I'm not up front a lot. So I always botch these restarts. I'm not a restart guy. I'm get 10 laps into me and then find what I got and go. So it's hard for me to really get moving along. And that one last restart, I guess Richie shifted it into second, which was funny because we were talking about it early on because it happened to me a few times too during the race. And I was able to beat him, on that last restart and clear him. And I knew from that point, I could have been able to, I was able to hold it because I was a little quicker than him, but I still felt bad for the beginning of the race. I started in second. He passed me. The iRacing rules gave him the black, and I was devastated. I was the complete ass at the time, and I felt real bad about it. So it's all good though. He made it back too. He got a third. We got a 1, 2, 3 as a team, and it's impressive anywhere. It's to me, it's even cooler to do it on the dirt because I love it so much.
Yeah, it's definitely your forte of style of track, and yeah, second time this season you have Fury Motorsports 1, 2, 3. So whatever you found late in 2022, it is working for the team. Obviously, you've done it on 2 different track types, 2 different surfaces. So overall, you just got great speed on that camp. But floor is yours, man. Who would you like to thank one last time before we let you go this evening?
Well, thank mom and dad, and I know I got aunts and uncles, and maybe some cousins, and everybody out in Las Vegas right now. They're watching, and hey, everybody, yeah, we got a 1, 2, 3 as a team. I want to thank the team, Richie, Brody, Michael Blackner. Even though Michael Blackner, this is not his forte, he's a road course guy like myself. So he was able to hang it out. I want to thank everybody in the league that did show up tonight. This is not everybody's cup of tea, and hey, everybody did really well tonight. It was a great race. Thank you guys. Sponsors Buttkicker, Martin Sports, and yeah. Get ready for next week. I don't know if you're going to see much more of me, but maybe.
No, we're gonna be counting in on you each and every week to show up, man. But congratulations once again, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Have a good one.
And that was your race winner for his second win of the season, Mr. Tony Solari, in the number 11 Menards Ford Mustang. And Dustin, did Brody say it best? Was this one of the best races that we've seen on dirt here all week long? And what was your overall thoughts?
In all honesty, Jeremy, I would have to agree with Brody on that one. I think it was probably one of the better, if not the best races that I have seen on there. The cautions, they tend to happen. But the cautions were not plentiful. They were just kind of sprinkled through enough to kind of bunch everybody back up and get some good 3-wide racing action going on again. But just the side-by-side racing. Yeah, there was contact, but they kept it going straight. Jeremy, that one caution that come out, that caution probably should have come out about 8 to 10 corners prior to that, and these drivers stayed in it. They were just muscling through. They were putting on a hell of a show. So, overall, it's exactly what I would expect. 1, for a dirt race. 2, from Full Throttle Sim Racing. It did not disappoint, that's for sure.
It definitely didn't. And we have one more short track race coming up next week, Martinsville, for the trucks and for the Cup guys. So one more week of short tracks through the little short track 3-week stint, then back to the big tracks after that. But we're going to like to thank our sponsors one last time before we give this broadcast a closeout for everybody out here. Starting off with the league themselves. If you want to be part of this action, you saw it. Excellent dirt racing. They provide excellent road course racing, excellent oval racing, short track, you name it. These guys can provide top-notch racing. So be a part of it. Go to FTSR.net. Get yourself registered today. Trust me, it's worth your time. Mach 1 Performance, the Monday Night Cup Series sponsor. It's a race fabrication shop produced by the late Johnny Coy Jr. To produce champions and winners from all sorts of racing divisions locally. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points is your all-inclusive league points management system that allows you to completely track your league stats and statistics with one simple upload. Visit them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get your notifications fractions of a second faster, all without ever leaving your focus from the racing action. Visit iRacingIFlag.com for full product line. The Butt Kicker, get that ultimate feel from a race car with a haptic response system from them. Visit thebuttkicker.com to see a full lineup of haptic products for your sim rig. Team Watson Racing Setups, get quality, professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. Visit them at teamwatsonracing.com for pricing and packages. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way from coffee from Roasted Gems. Visit them at roastedgems.com to get a taste. And this is going to bring a close to us for our Monday night broadcast here. We're going to rejoin you guys Wednesday night for the Martin Sports Truck Series to tackle 200 miles at Martinsville. But until then, stay safe and to get your nerd on.
All right, guys, that's Monday night. Finished third here at the dirt, and I think we took the points lead over again, so that's good. We'll see everybody on Wednesday night. We're going to head to Martinsville, favorite track, baby, Martinsville, with the trucks. So anyway, everybody have a good night. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.